when you went to medical school first, you realized you used to be the bright guy in your school. There are brighter guys. You understand? And I think within the first term, you were brought down to earth. Yeah, first you do your first cut, get 30%, partly because maybe you are not understanding, and partly because also you may be spending a lot of time in various places in town, you are discovering town. So all these things come in, and then you are shaken out of your slumber. You find guys that the teacher asks a question, and guys have already read. You understand? And then we used to ask some of the guys, Kwan, you did medicine in high school. Because of the way they're answering the question. So that was one of the first challenges. Now, keeping up with these very bright children, from all over the country, you're competing against the best. So you start now trying to manage your time well, and then you've suddenly gotten this freedom, yes? And not that we didn't have freedom, for example, in high school. I think we had a very liberal administration in high school. But now you have freedom and you have money. Remember, we were given what was called boom. We received 1,500 first term. Those were called term. Now you call them semesters. And I think we received about 500 shillings second. And then we received another 500 third term, which was a lot of money because food is assured, accommodation is assured. The first one, we used to call it mega boom. That is too much. And, guys would really go and buy music systems, buy electric kettles by yourself. So, because university, you only needed to have your meal card. You appear in the canteen, you eat. And if you felt like you wanted a glass of milk, there was what was called Kitchen 1, the vegetarian kitchen. All that you needed to do is tell the guy at CCU, don't mark today. So that when you go to CCU, to Kitchen 1, it appears like you hadn't had dinner. And you go there and all you want a glass of milk and some of those rotis. Yeah? So you take 2 rotis, glass of milk. So really it was good. And then the other thing about university those days is that there were lots of activities going on every weekend, public lectures, traveling, theater performing, discourse within the university. And you are paying 5 shillings, yes, to enter, for example. So I did feel that we had a very, very good time because we didn't have to scrounge for anything. It was taken care of. Books, you go to the Nini and you get your books. So when I see the life that the students live now in the university, including medical students, I can't compare it to the way we lived that time. But because of that, you applied yourself. Of course, there are people who went to university and then they were completely overwhelmed. Yeah, by maybe the freedom. Sometimes they are overwhelmed because just like today, there are people who will go into medicine, for example, because they got good grades and their parents said, you get good grades, you go and do medicine. Some of us had started being socialized to the idea of doing medicine and think, it's not very bad. Yes, yeah.
What a good life. Some of us feel like we are caught up in the wrong age. Who wishes they were in uni in the 70s? That does sound like a good life. But I think those foundational years were really formative. I mean, just your journey through a father who wanted to educate his children, a sister who was reading and picking up books, all of that, a teacher who had a PhD. How many of us had biology teachers with PhDs? And I think all of that kind of forms, I always say that you only become what you see. You can't become what you don't see. So now you finished medical school. It sounds like it was, you didn't have any supplementaries. Were you top of your class?
In medical school?
Yeah.
No idea, but I don't think so.
Okay. But did you repeat any years?
No. Luckily.
Okay.
We used to say, like I told you, when you come to medical school, you're a top student. Then after a short time, you're only competing with 50%. You're not competing within. I'm sure a lot of you can identify within a short time. All that you want is to get your 50% because you want to pass your exams. Anything else is bonus. Yes, a few kids still continue wanting to get distinctions, but I don't think that was an ambition of most of us in medical school. 50% it is. Yeah, but obviously some subjects one would do well. I loved community health. I did in medical school. I also dabbled a little bit on in medical politics. In second year, I was the assistant secretary of Amsun, and in third year, I was the secretary of Amsun. When we went to fourth year, there was a lot of university politics and the government. So actually, I got advised by my brother again, don't get now into more university, because a lot of people who were in leadership in the university were discontinued during those days, during the Moi regime. So my brother told me, look, don't make sure that you don't go into politics of SONU. So I stayed in medical school, it was safe. But even getting to medical school and being chairman, my classmates were asking me, you should be the Amsun chairman. But I heeded my brother's advice, and I decided not to vie for the chairmanship, although I had been the secretary. Yeah, but we really enjoyed. I think I enjoyed being in Amsun leadership. One of the things that the treasurer was a good friend of mine, and one of the things that when we became our committee is we had said that we will bring some student center into the medical school. So outside the Hall C, there was a room there. So we got that room converted into a canteen. The problem is we were very ambitious. We also, the guy who was running the student campaign center, he was called Michael. And of course, when you're in down, we used to go and have a drink there. So we persuaded Michael also to bring some beer. So he stocked beer in the student here. And then on Saturdays, guys would buy beer and then they are sitting outside the grass there. It became such a big issue. He said, this is next to the hospital. It's medical students, they are supposed to be responsible. So there was a backlash, and our canteen that time was closed. But we always told the students we succeeded. We promised we would bring student center. We brought student center to you. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You've always been a trailblazer. So then now you get into the world of work. You go for internship in Nakuru. So the period between finishing medical school, going to internship, being an MO for a bit, and then realizing I think I want to go back for postgraduate training. Yeah, just what is that journey like? I think now we are in the crux of the matter where a lot of us are kind of the stage we are or looking to go into. So yeah, what was the thought process? And I guess also this is now when a lot of life transitions are happening. You get married, start having children. Yeah, so what is that young adult stage of your life like?
I think it was good. There was little pressure, so to say. So after finishing, of course, that night the results came out. Maybe it's one of the most memorable nights in my life, because unlike these days where sometimes you finish exams and then it takes you time to get your results, we would finish our last fiver on Wednesday. Friday evening, the results would be up. Yes, it didn't take that. We finish on Wednesday. There's faculty exam meeting on Thursday or Friday morning. Afternoon, the results are up. So obviously, all of us knew. So you come there and hey, you changed your title. You are now doctor. Everybody's writing on the board there. This is Dr. Macharia. It's written Macharia I am. Then I have to come there and write Dr. Macharia I am. And of course, we go out and celebrate. Absolutely memorable. Feeling the weight out. And now we are looking towards going to do internship. Internship was assured. On Monday morning, we all meet We are preparing. Again, I was lucky because I was chosen to be the leader to organize our postings. We used to organize our posting ourselves. So we meet and then we ask people to choose. There are certain stations that were very popular. We knew that there were the ministry. We had gone to the ministry on Monday morning, and we got the posting list that Nakuru you need 5, Kakamega 10, wherever. So we come with this list now. We had a meeting on Monday afternoon, and then we say, okay, people choose. So those who want to go to Kakamega, there are 13, but there are 7 places. So you ballot. Those who want to go to Machakos, like that. So there were about there were provincial hospitals, so we knew. So we do. So on Tuesday, we have taken the list to the ministry. And that is the list that is followed. Now, a little bit of intrigue in that there were guys who wanted to go to certain hospitals to do their internship, mainly because they were interested in some girls. So they wanted to end up in the same station. So obviously, they would come and ask, where is Nyambura going? Where has Nyambura chosen? So then I would say, Kakamega. Then they also now choose Kakamega because they want to be there. And by the way, some of those, they ended up pairing up. So I always look at them and I feel very good that they paired up. And then during that week, we had parties, drug companies, giving us parties. And then within about 2 weeks, we got our posting orders. I wanted to go to Nakuru. I went to Nakuru. And it was really nice. A very good working environment, but a lot of work. You could work, the whole weekend with just one. Those of us who were trying to court, sometimes now by this time you have gotten a girlfriend, you're trying to get serious, and sometimes your girlfriend would come on a Friday, and literally you're in hospital up to Sunday. Yes, you're just dashing back, having something to eat, going back. But it was a very, very exciting time because I also learned, and I do tell medical students that when you're trying to choose your internship station, don't ask where there is no work. Ask where there is work. Because literally, your foundation as a doctor is laid during your internship. You go where there is work, you are tested, you are tried. By the time you finish your internship, you have internalized confidence. You are a confident young man or young woman, and you can go to do any work. So Nakuru was very good for me. At that time, I had thought I would stay in Nakuru after internship because I really liked the station. Very good books with my consultants. The guy who was a medical soup promised that we will stay in Nakuru because we are good guys. We did our work. But when the posting came out, I found I was posted to Kisumu. So as I was coming down Avia House, we had come to check our posting, I met this friend of mine who was also very sad because he had been and he came from Kisii. And me, I posted to Kisumu. I came from Muranga. So as we were exchanging, we realized, why can't somebody go to, he had wanted to go to Kisumu, me had wanted to go to Nakuru. So we agreed, we exchanged. So we just went back up to Afia House, we went to the DMS's office, and there our letters were cancelled. Me, I was given to Meru, and he was given to Kisumu. Simple. You didn't have to struggle. So I ended up in Meru as a medical officer, and that's where I got married while I was in Meru because I worked there for 2 years, and we got our first child in Meru, and then while in Meru I was posted to Moyale for 6 months. Again, the most exciting part of the life in Moyale was the fact that I was there. There is only one MO. Going to Moyale, there was no transport. You get onto a truck, and you have a police escort, army escort, because those days there were bandits. And so you up to Moyale, and it was corrugation, takes you about 8-9 hours. to get there. And then there wasn't a lot of work. People are not coming. So usually every day in Moyale, by about 10:30, you are finished. Everything. And you know now I am the medical officer in charge. I have signed the vouchers. Anyway, the money used to get finished within 3 days of coming. The ministry gives you money 3 days, there are vouchers. So you give. 10:30, you meet other senior civil servants and you have your meat. And at 11, usually we would be eating the tongue. Yeah, you started with the tongue. So it was really good. It was a hardship area, but I think we did enjoy. For me, the enjoyment was the responsibility, doing things. I did doing a colostomy, defunctioning colostomy, and I had not done one. I had seen one being done. And this lady was at about 6 p.m. called AMREF, they couldn't come for. So there was a lady, a surgeon, she was called Madame Spore. So she said, look, have you ever seen a colostomy being done? I said, yes, I've seen, but I haven't. So she said, okay, I'll take you through the steps. So we go to theater, we take the radio from the office, hook it in theater, and then there was no anesthetist, so you give your ketamine, then go and scrub, and then the generator goes off. Then you get torches, and guys are holding torches for you to do your... but she took me through the steps. We did the defunctioning colostomy. Next, doing a subtotal hysterectomy. Things here which were done by senior consultants. So, so that confidence, being able to do that, and then of course, now it's time to come to postgraduate. Yeah.
It sounds like there was just an ease. You were not like struggling.
That
just sounds like there was flow.
Yes, yes.
Different from now, where everything is a big, scary. Even him getting married was like a footnote. Here we agonize over those decisions.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the time. And I guess because there just was a lot of opportunity, it's different. What is that about? That you didn't seem like, and I'm sure you'll tell us about even choosing ENT. That wasn't. I mean, it just was the next step, right?
Yeah, I think you are right. We read a NISE life. We took life as it came. I mean, when I was posted to Moyare, it wasn't a big deal. I went to Moyare. I was planning to get married. I planned my wedding on a government fund, because you go to Moyale, you have a 4-bedroomed house on half an acre, free telephone. You don't pay a single cent. So my girlfriend would call on leavers call. So we speak for 2 hours. Do you understand? On a government account. The same thing in Meru. When I came back to Meru, I had a house. So life was easy. I didn't need to struggle. You understand? You didn't need to struggle. We weren't getting a lot of money. But it was enough. It was literally enough for you to be able to put food on your table, dress well, buy things for your parents, support if you had siblings that you supported. You understand? It wasn't a lot of money. But we didn't know people with a lot of money. That was a good thing. Because I think today, the biggest problem is people with a lot of money. Your contemporaries who did IT. By the time you finish, they have worked for 2-3 years. You're struggling here with an intern salary. They're earning 300,000, 400,000. So they make you feel inadequate. But let me tell you, when I was in Meru, there is a shortage of rice. The DO calls me, keeps one bag for me. As the medical officer, as a doctor. You understand? Anything that you need, everybody, you are having a drink with the magistrate, you're having a drink with the OCPD. Because the number of people in that environment, so you feel comfortable. You feel affirmed that you didn't make a mistake being a doctor, because a doctor is respected. You are called, you are a member of the golf club or the country club. Yes? Because the membership is 5K. And everybody is introducing you. Everybody tells you, hey, Daktari, you haven't joined the club. So it is automatic. So that easiness was because of the environment. Now, the pressures that you guys
You
go
must
through.
feel so sad for us.
Yes, I do feel so sad for you because you have so much pressure. You have pressure to keep up with the so-and-so. You have pressure to keep up with your own classmates, and they have different backgrounds. You come from a different background. We never felt a social difference in university because all of us got boom. Even I know my friends whose parents were a little bit better off, they were senior civil servants, but the minute they entered university, their parents cut off their allowance. So all of us were depending on boom. So whatever you wanted to do, you do with your boom. Whatever he wanted to do, he did with his boom. So there wasn't, now you guys have so much social pressure. From your classmates, from your your age mates, your peers in other fields. Yeah. But the thing is, you must learn to live your own life. Run your own race. Why are you running other people's races? And you don't know where they started. Right? Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy. So why ENT? Why did you go back to do ENT?
Truth be told, initially I wanted to do Ops Gynae. Why did I want to do Ops Gynae? Young people are very impressionable. At that time, we thought Ops Gynae was really, even in terms of people selecting, it was the most popular department. We get 50 applications when other departments are getting 10. For me, one fine day in medical school, we were having tutorials. Tutorials were real in the afternoons. Tutorials, yes. So we are waiting for this consultant in, I think, Ward 1C or 1B, one of those gynecology wards. There used to be the side rooms. Usually you would have the tutorials there. So this guy comes a little bit late, and then he says, you know, the problem is money. I dosed in my Mercedes Benz. And then he told us the problem is when you have money, your problem is, remember this a senior gynecologist telling us that? Hey, so all the young men there, our mouths dropped, our jaws dropped open. So you mean, and which young man doesn't want to have a problem of money and women? Just tell me. You understand? So you feel this is where I should be. And generally, we also enjoyed Ops Gynae delivering, you know, doing all those things. I did enjoy Ops Gynae. I enjoyed my rotation. So going to Nakuru, I knew I'm going to do Ops Gynae. Then I go to Meru. Very interesting because Meru, there were quite a good number of mission hospitals in Meru. And then around 1983, I think 84, 83, 84, there was a doctor strike. And then President Moi, you know, said we can do without doctors, we shall import doctors. And actually he did import doctors from India. Now the Minister for Health that time was from Meru. So obviously, like it is today, he got a good number of doctors to go to Meru and from India. Some of them were okay, some of them were not very competent. Apparently, there was one doctor who was doing tubal ligations in Meru. But maybe 90% of his tubal ligations failed. So you can imagine the number of unwanted pregnancies that were there. People who had 2, 3 previous cars, they got pregnant. So there were lots of cesarean sections. Honestly, we could do 10 to 12 cesarean sections in a night. We were so fast. Skin to skin, we used to call it skin to skin, 28 minutes. Baby is out, you have stitched, you have finished. You don't even go to labor ward to check. Then midwife calls, says there is fetal distress, there is impeding uterine rupture. You just tell, come.